Hello, beautiful and beloved ones. This is Lorelei from the Tightrope to 5D Music Reactions. And if you wonder about that strange name, stick around to the end. I'm going to give you a special message about this historic shift from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness for the entire population. Never been done before. So that's good. But let's first of all start with a reaction to SOHYANG, Arirang Alone. Okay, you guys suggested it, so here we go. She starts it off with a bang already. I actually love people when they just sing and it doesn't, the words, there's not even necessarily any words. There's just the sound of it and how beautiful it is. Let's go back and hear that again. Looks like an angel in that dress, doesn't she? Wow.
아리랑 아리랑 울로 아리랑 아리랑 고개로 넘어가 보자 가다가 힘들면 쉬어가 손잡고 가보자 다 함께 가보자.
So she's talking about crossing, what reading the words here, crossing over a mountain together, and they'll make it over or something to that effect. Okay, cool. That again. I love the violin. I hear that this is a special song of Korea and it's been done in a bunch of different ways, so the meaning is always a little different is what I understand. If I'm understanding that correctly, correct me in the comments. Let me know what it is. Here we go. Okay, it's not easy to do that, folks. If you're not a singer, you may not know that belting thing is not easy. It's very easy to danger your voice, but she sure knows how to do it. Let's go back and hear that again. That is great. She goes from such a soft to then that belting thing. That's where she adds so much dynamics into her music. Do you see that? Like it's all different kinds of ways. It's a spectacle with her, the whole thing flowing together, like, you know, everything, the lights, the other instrumentalists, the other singers. Let's go back a little. This is great. Myself, it's more of a journey on the water instead of a mountain journey, but it is a journey. She's talking about, here we go. And it's water, so I don't know what to say there, but it's both. Switch there, like she's blasting it out there. This is the dynamics I'm talking about, like, so you don't get bored, you don't get, it's going back and forth in these different ways. Let's go back a little and hear that transition. Wow! Wow! Holy moly! That was like, oh, that was a journey. That was like I don't even know, it's even more than a journey. It was, what's that word for an incredible journey? The incredible journey. That was that. Oh my goodness. She is so extraordinary. I don't even know what to say about this one. She just, and the whole theatrics of it all, you know, the envisioning of the whole thing and how it's going to be and all the different elements is just so extraordinary. And I'm pretty sure she probably comes up with that herself, you know, I mean, with the help of some folks, the lighting people or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be her image. So put it in the comments. Is that her image? I imagine it is. She seems like, I mean, not just her singing, but her ability to stage the whole thing. See, I also have a degree in theater. So, I mean, that's staging it and having the whole thing in every which way, working as one unified whole, but with so many elements. Wow. Just, wow. Unbelievable. This one is so extraordinary. I don't even know what to say about her. You know, I got to put this on my scale, you know. Oh, by the way, first of all, if you haven't done it already, please like, subscribe, and like hers. It's in the note. She needs a like too. But it's in the comment. It's in the notes, rather. So I got to put it on my scale. 1 being very third dimensional, fear, pain, sadness, anger. And 10 being very fifth dimensional, love, peace, joy, bliss, harmony, unity, oneness. That was all in there, right? Oh my goodness, it's very, very high, very high. Oh, I'm going high on this one because this is really, I don't see anything too much pulling it back toward third dimension. It's like, I mean, it's a journey and everyone's journeying together and they're going to make it and all of this, like it's, oh, it reminds me of the journey that we have on this earth, you know, in our lives, you know, to make it to that pinnacle. So I'll go with a 9.75 on this one. Really, and I never go to a 10, guys, because, you know, you got to leave room for other people like the Olympics, you know. But, and that's not how extraordinary she did it. If I wanted to say how extraordinary she did it, I'd have to go at 20. But that's just how much it pulls us to the higher place. Didn't you feel like it pulled you to that higher place? Like you were floating on the air, right? Didn't it feel like that? Like you were, or not even floating, but flying through the air with her there, right? Didn't it feel that way? Oh my goodness. So unbelievable. Ah, I really, really love such a song as this. It just makes my day. It just lights me all up from inside. So thank you, SOHYANG, and all the people involved in that performance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, guys, if you'd like to know a little bit about me, you can go to the About Me video here on this channel, and it leads you to a longer video if you so desire. Or you can go to the link in the notes about Lorelei on Patreon, which tells you all the various things I've created. And speaking of that, I just created some memberships on this channel. So you can get special things. So like on the first tier, you're going to get special videos that other people are not getting. On the second tier, I'm going to do runs of videos. Like I might do a run of SOHYANG. At some point, I'll do a run of all the ones that I possibly can, you know. So your favorite artist will do a run of it on there, which you don't often get to do on YouTube because of the way the channel's set up. You know, it's just very difficult. And then on the top tier, I'm going to do special content to uplift you, like say maybe some meditations and maybe some songs. And I'm going to be reading the Saint Germain I Am discourses, which is so powerful. So spiritual upliftment is what I'm talking about, or happiness or joy upliftment. So check those out, and I hope you join. And I want to also, by the way, not forget to thank those of you who have participated in any way and supported me, for instance, in buying me a coffee or super thanks. I really, really appreciate you. So thank you. So now let's get to our fifth dimensional message. Are we being programmed? If so, how and by whom? I might even change it to have we been programmed? If so, how and by whom? So why does this relate to the fifth dimension? Let's just remember that when we're going to the fifth dimension, we're going to a higher consciousness, a consciousness of love, peace, joy, bliss, harmony, unity, oneness, abundance, all of that. Is that the consciousness we have right now? Probably not. I'm guessing that for most of us, that love, peace, joy, bliss, wonder, unity, oneness is not the consciousness that we have now. But it is, however, the consciousness of the divine. It's the consciousness of all of the divine sparks of God in the higher realms, you see? And we came from the higher realms, dropped down to third dimension so we could experience this kind of third dimensional physical reality. So we don't have that consciousness when we come down here, which is very interesting. If we don't have that consciousness, but we once had it, wouldn't it occur like there's something going on with our consciousness, right? Now, part of it is just the natural aspect of moving down to a lower vibration. And now there are things that exist here that don't exist in the higher realms. Pain exists, fear exists, having a hungry stomach exists, needing to survive exists, needing to make money to survive, needing to take care of your family, your bills. Back in the day, you had to also worry, were you going to survive the experience of life? You had to worry for your very life. Harming people doesn't exist in the higher realms. None of that exists in the higher realms. So obviously there's going to be a different consciousness down here than there is there, right? Because we see it, right? All that stuff that doesn't even exist in the higher realm. Struggle doesn't exist, right? Pain doesn't exist. None of that exists. Separation doesn't exist, okay? So we have that, definitely have that in our heads. But then we say, but is it a little even more diabolical in a way, right? Because if you notice over the past 10 years, we've seen something very strange, haven't we? We've seen people move into two different separate kind of groups, if you will. One group saying one thing, another group saying another thing, right? One group saying, well, I don't really think we should allow criminals to go running around. I'm not sure we should mess with a child's gender. I'm not sure we should let all the people on the planet into our country without taking a look and see how they are. I'm not sure what else, all the stuff that's over on that side. I'm not sure we should be let's just say, getting rid of so many babies that we are. I'm not sure we should call people should be able to choose whether they're a male or a female or a furry or whatever. I'm not sure. That doesn't sound right to me. There's something funny about that, right? And then the other side is going, oh yes, well, that's perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal. In fact, I think that, it's a choice. It's a choice of your sexuality, whether you want to even engage with children. Like, no kidding. The other guy's going, ah! This side's going, what? What? And this side's, oh yes, perfectly normal. Perfectly normal. Perfectly normal to give money to people that come into your country and not to your veterans and whatever on the street. Perfectly normal. Perfectly normal to call a man a woman a man. Perfectly normal. I'm not sure which side you're on, but if you're watching this video, I hope you're over here. I hope you're more or less over here. But you say to yourself, like, and legitimately over there, they're thinking all of that's perfectly normal, right? And a whole lot more, right? We could go into. I don't want to get striked by YouTube here. They're thinking the exact opposite of what this side is thinking would be good and just and right and loving and caring. They think is good, just, loving, and caring. What's going on? And this is just one example. I'm giving you one little example. We've seen it over the last 10 years. So how could that be? How could it possibly be that people could come up with such drastically different? And then you say, is somebody attempting to put forth this conversation over here? Like, this is the conversation most normal people would, in their heads, come up with, given, their general goodness of the population, the general wanting the best for people of the population, the general religions that you've studied and what they've said and all that. They'd come up over here, right? And then the other ones are coming up with this wacky thing. We don't know where it comes from. So where does it come from? Well, arguably, there's been a sort of a campaign here then going on over here. There's a sort of a campaign going on to tell these folks over here who watch, let's say, who watch these certain types of news stations and who don't go beyond those to see more, who don't do their own research. There's been a sort of a campaign over here to tell them that black is white, Up is down, left is right, right? It looks that way, doesn't it? It really looks that way. And if you go and you go to some of these various channels, the CBS, the ABC, the NBC, the BBC, true, it's true. You're gonna see like left is right, up is down, black is white, and literally not even saying anything that might seem to discredit that, right? So you go, because the mind is a very powerful thing, but it's also a very sort of malleable thing, right? The consciousness is a very malleable thing, and you can drop into someone's consciousness by what you say to that people. You can literally start to convince them, like I said, up is down, black is white. So what is going on here? Haven't you guys said that? What is going on here? How is this going? How is this happening? How can this be possible? And the only folks I think that are over here on this side anymore are, number one, the ones who just don't watch any TV at all. So they're just like, I don't know what to make of it. They might not be over here, but they're in the middle. I don't know what to make of this because I'm not watching any of that stuff at all. And one person tells me this and another person tells me that, right? And I don't know what's going on, right? So those guys could be kind of walking a fine line in the middle. But then you have the ones that really, I will say, are perhaps more programmable. That's the way I'm going to say it. I'm going to assert that there is a type of programming going on which comes out through propaganda, right? Which, by the way, that's what kept people on board with things like communist or the Nazi movement. There was propaganda, kept them on board for a certain amount of time, as many as they could, until finally it fell apart. So there's that propaganda that goes to a certain kind of mind that is very programmable in some certain ways. And this side could be programmed, except that this side doesn't listen to that, didn't buy it, and doesn't listen to it anymore and doesn't believe it, right? So, but if you're listening to that still as we speak, you're probably more or less more programmable. But who would be doing this programming? Who would be doing this propaganda? Well, we're going to be looking into that. Apparently, they're looking into who's paying these folks and everything else. But I think if you look at common sense wise, right, they're looking into who's paying the rioters, and all of that. ANTIFA folks, who's paying them. They're looking into that. But if you think about it, just, with your logical mind and just kind of think about it, got to be some folks with money. That's number one. Probably folks with power. That's number two. They'd have to have a lot of power to be able to get this all done, right? They have to be sort of power mongers to be able to get this all down and put this propaganda, this programming out to the entire population. And three, well, they probably got to be kind of sick and warped. Probably power and money is the only thing they care about, and they're probably sick and warped. Who'd want to do that to people? They got to be kind of sick and warped. They're probably doing sick and warped practices. So what we're looking at, money, power, sick and warped, is something many of us have often called, there's a term for that, we call it the rich elite, or the rich elite power mongers, because there might be some rich, more or less elite who are not nasty, but you got the rich elite power mongers, okay? Now, this phrase works, because I'm going to talk to you more about programming in some of my next videos about different ways we've been programmed, not just this one way, because trust me, you could take a look and you could see, seems like there's a lot of programming going out there. So we're going to look at the various different ways we may have been programmed. But this term, rich elite power mongers, we've had rich elite power mongers in the year 2000. In the year 1900, there were rich elite power mongers. In the year 1800, there were rich elite power mongers. In the year 700, there were rich elite power mongers. In the year 500, there were rich elite power mongers. In the year 0, there were rich elite power mongers. In the year 576 BC, there were rich elite power mongers, right? Throughout the history of mankind, there has always been rich elite power mongers who were up to no good. You know that that's true because you've read the stories of them in the Shakespeare or in the ancient texts or in the Bible. You've read the stories over and over and over again of rich elite power mongers up to no good, right? So we can assume, I would say, throughout the ages, there has been this sort of propaganda, this sort of programming of people. And we've seen it right before our face, right here now. It became really obvious over the past decade, didn't it? We could have let it slide by, but what they were doing over the past decade became very, very obvious. So this is just a sort of a teaser. I'm going to start to now look at the different ways that we've been programmed, so to speak, and see if we can start to look at what's really true and what's programming. Like, you're questioning the program. We're going to just do that. We're even just going to question the programming and see whether that programming is really true for us or really true in a general sense as we go along the next few videos, however long it takes. So that is my message for you today, and that'll make a big difference. Questioning the programming that we've had on third dimensional Earth is going to make a big difference in opening up the floodgates to even be able to accept the higher consciousness of the love, the joy, the peace, the bliss, and all of that. We got to open up the floodgates by letting go of some of that programming, all of the programming, really, when you think of it. So, okay, friends, that's what I have to say today. So I'm sending you that beautiful fifth dimensional energy. The love, the peace, the bliss, the joy, the abundance, the unity, the oneness coming at you now. Namaste. I honor the God in you.